This actually did happen to a real person. And the real person is me. I'd gone to catch a train. I was a bit early for the train. I'd gotten the time of the train wrong. I went to get myself a newspaper, to do the crossword, and a cup of coffee, and a packet of cookies. I went and sat at a table. I want you to picture the scene. It's very important that you get this clear in your mind. Here's the table. Cup of coffee, newspaper, packet of cookies. There's a guy sitting opposite me, perfectly ordinary looking guy, wearing a business suit with a briefcase. It didn't look like he was going to do anything weird. What he did was this. He suddenly leaned across, picked up the packet of cookies, took one out, and ate it. You know what would have happened if this had been South Central Los Angeles? There would have very quickly been gunfire. Helicopters coming in, CNN, you know the works. But in the end, I did what any red-blooded Englishman would do. I ignored it, and I stared at the newspaper, trying to do a crossword clue. I couldn't do anything. Nothing for it. I'll just have to go for it. I took out a cookie for myself. I thought, that settles him. But it hadn't, because a moment or two later he did it again. He took another cookie. We went through the whole packet like this. I mean, there were only about 8 cookies, but it felt like a lifetime. Having not mentioned it the first time, it was somehow even harder to raise the subject a second time around. He took one, I took one. He took one, I took one. Finally, when we got to the end, he stood up and walked away. Well, we exchanged meaningful looks. Then he walked away. And I breathed a sigh of relief and sat back. A moment or two later, the train was coming in. So I tossed back the rest of my coffee, picked up the newspaper, and underneath the newspaper were my cookies. The thing I like particularly about this story is the sensation that somewhere in England, there has been wandering around for the last quarter of a century a perfectly ordinary guy who had the same exact story, only he doesn't have the punchline.